I used to believe love was supposed to feel safe. Not perfect. Not dramatic. Just safe. That belief carried me all the way from a small village in Bretagne to a tiny apartment in Lyon, with a man everyone swore was such a good guy. My name is Camille Laurent. And this is the story of how I slowly stopped trusting my own mind, while the man who claimed to love me stayed perfectly calm. If any part of this feels too familiar, I want you to stay with me till the end, and tell me in the comments if I'm telling your story too. I met Julien when I was 28. I'd just started working as a school counselor in a public middle school on the outskirts of Lyon. My days were full of teenagers, crisis meetings, and lukewarm coffee. I was exhausted, but I loved it. Helping kids made sense. Adults, not so much. Julien walked into my life at a friend's birthday dinner in the 7th district. I was nervous, holding a glass of red wine. And of course I did the most Camille thing possible. I knocked my elbow against someone behind me and spilled wine all over his shirt. "Oh no, I'm so sorry." I panicked. He laughed. Soft, low, almost shy. "It's only a shirt," he said. "Don't worry." That sentence stuck to my brain like glue. It's only a shirt. After years of men who turned every mistake into a crime, a man who could shrug and smile felt like a miracle. We started dating a few weeks later. Julien was a project manager at an architecture firm, steady job, sensible shoes, the kind of man who prefers quiet wine bars to loud clubs. He listened more than he talked. He remembered small details, like the fact that my favorite pastry is a pain aux raisins, not a croissant. He texted good mornings, walked me to the tram, cooked pasta heavy on garlic and cheese. Perfectly average things that felt like proof. My best friend Inez said, "Finally, a man who isn't a walking red flag. Hold on to this one." So I did. The first year together was peaceful. Julien rarely raised his voice. We had rituals: Saturday morning market, Sunday walks along the Rhone, midweek Netflix with cheap wine. He asked about my students, about the parents who kept me up at night. He sent flowers to my mother for her birthday without telling me. When we argued, he stayed calm. Too calm. If I cried, he'd say, "Camille, we'll talk when you're less emotional, okay?" Like my feelings were bad Wi-Fi we needed to wait out. At first, I thought it was maturity. Emotional regulation. All the psychology words I throw at other people. I told myself, "You finally found stability. Don't ruin it." The first time something felt wrong, it was over something tiny. We were driving back from his parents' place near on sea. Over dessert, his mother had smiled and said, "It's sweet that you work with troubled kids, but eventually you'll want something more stable, right?" In the car I rolled my eyes and repeated it, half joking. Julien frowned. "She didn't say that." I laughed. "Yes, she did. At the table." "No, Camille. You misunderstood. She was talking about your stress, not your job." For a moment I was certain. Then doubt slid in. Had I misunderstood? Maybe I'd projected my own insecurity. Maybe I was being unfair. It didn't feel big enough to fight about. So I dropped it. But that was the first time he quietly told me not to trust my own memory. And I believed him. After we moved in together, the corrections multiplied. If I recalled a conversation differently, Julien corrected me. "That's not what I said. You're mixing things up." If I told him something hurt me, he explained why it shouldn't. "You're taking it the wrong way. You're sensitive today. You're projecting school stress onto us." Every time I tried to hold my ground, he sighed, a heavy, patient sigh. "I worry about you," he said one night, hand on my shoulder. "You seem confused more often lately." That word, confused, moved into my head and refused to pay rent. I thought, if a school counselor can't trust her own mind, that's a problem. And because my job is literally mental health, his concern scared me. Julien never said, "Don't see your friends." That would have been obvious. Instead, he asked gentle questions. "Do you notice how Inez always loves drama? It must drain you. Your brother exaggerates everything. I don't want you stressed by his negativity." He ended with, "I just want to protect your peace, my love." So when I stopped answering invitations, it felt like my idea. I was just tired, grown up, focused on my couple. Looking back now, it's scary how elegantly I walked myself into isolation while he simply pointed me in the direction. The turning point came on a rainy Thursday in our kitchen. After a rough patch, we'd finally agreed on something: couples therapy. I was relieved. A neutral professional in a neutral room. Someone who would hear both sides and maybe hand me back my clarity. On the morning of our first session, an email popped up. "Your appointment with Dr. Lefebvre has been canceled at the client's request." I frowned. "Julien?" I called. "Did you cancel our session?" He looked up from his laptop. "What? No. Why would I do that?" I showed him the email on my phone. He studied it, then shook his head slowly. "I have no idea why it says that," he replied. "I didn't cancel. This is exactly what I mean, Camille. You keep seeing things that aren't there. It scares me." That word again, scares. As if I was a danger to myself. That night, while he slept, I sat at the dining table with a cheap spiral notebook. I wrote, 14/03, therapy canceled. Email says client request. He denies canceling. Says he's worried about my perception. I didn't start the notebook because I planned some big escape. I started it because I was afraid I was genuinely losing my mind. Part 2 is where the calm turns into a weapon. Hit like so the algorithm pushes this to someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We eventually did make it to therapy. I wish I could say that's when everything clicked into place. Instead, it almost buried me. Our therapist, Madame Lefebvre, had the standard setup: neutral armchairs, plants that were either real or very good fakes, a soft voice, and framed diplomas hanging behind her. "My goal is to help you both feel heard," she said, and I actually believed her. Julien spoke first. He always spoke first. "Camille has been under a lot of pressure at work," he began. His voice was smooth, reasonable. "Sometimes she remembers things differently than I do, and it creates conflict. I just want her to feel safe." He sounded so sincere. So concerned. So loving. When it was my turn, my throat just closed up. I tried to explain, stumbling through examples of things he'd said or done. I started crying. My French, already a bit clumsy, got tangled up in all the emotion and professional jargon from my job. Next to his calm, clear narrative, I looked exactly like the unstable partner he had just described. Madame Lefebvre asked me gently, "Camille, have you ever struggled with anxiety or burnout?" "Yes," I admitted. "A few years ago." That one single sentence became his favorite tool. On the way home in the tram, he said, "You see? Even she noticed how anxious you get. I'm not attacking you, Camille, I'm just worried." Session after session, the same pattern repeated. I brought my pain, my confusion, my tears. He brought his concern, his calm, his rationality. From the outside, I'm sure it looked like a responsible, loving husband trying to help his fragile, emotional wife. But from the inside, it felt like I was drowning in a room full of people who could only see the surface of the water. After each session, Julien would give me his summary. "The therapist clearly sees you're under a lot of psychological strain," he'd say. Or, "I think we should really look into medication for you." And the worst one, "I'm doing my best here, but this is exhausting for me too, Camille." I started apologizing. Apologizing for being difficult. Apologizing for feeling too much. I started apologizing just for existing. All the while, my little notebook grew fatter. I was writing down everything, dates, times, quotes, the exact phrases he used. But the more I wrote down, the less I trusted myself. What kind of person documents their own life like it's a crime scene? The thought kept running through my head. Maybe I really am obsessive. Maybe he's right about me. Then came the night everything shifted. We went to a fundraiser at the school where I worked. There was music, cheap wine, and all the teachers were letting off steam. I was chatting with a colleague, and I laughed a bit too loudly at a joke he made. Maybe my hand brushed his arm for a second. It was nothing. A completely innocent, 3-second moment. On the tram ride home, Julien was silent. That heavy, loaded silence that tells you something is wrong. As soon as we got inside our apartment, he finally spoke, his voice clipped and cold. "You embarrassed me tonight." I just blinked at him. "What? How?" "You were flirting in front of everyone. Don't play innocent with me." I stared at him, completely baffled. We were joking about the raffle prizes. That's it. He just rolled his eyes. "You always twist things to make yourself look better. You know exactly what you did." And there it was, the accusation, followed immediately by the gaslighting, all in one breath. But for the first time, that perfectly calm mask cracked, and just for a second, I saw a flash of something much, much colder underneath. A week later, I met my friend Inez for coffee. It was the first time we'd really seen each other in months. She took one long look at me and said, "You look smaller. Are you okay?" "I'm just tired," I answered automatically. "Work is intense." It was my go-to line. She hesitated, then looked me straight in the eye. "Camille, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest," she said. "Does Julien ever make you feel like you can't trust your own memory?" The question hit me like a physical slap. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I just sat there. She nodded slowly, like she had already read the answer all over my face. "That's not just stress," she said softly. "That has a name." That night, I sat on the cold tile of our bathroom floor, my phone in my hand and my heart pounding against my ribs. And I typed one single word into Google: gaslighting. Every example, every description, every article felt like someone had been secretly filming my marriage. The constant denial of conversations I knew we'd had. The subtle rewriting of events to make me the bad guy. The calm, condescending superiority he always had. The way he isolated me, all dressed up as protection and concern. It was a revelation. A terrifying, sickening revelation. I wasn't confused. I was being made confused. I didn't confront him. My gut instinct told me that if I shouted, "You're gaslighting me," he would just calmly add it to his list of my episodes to tell the therapist. So instead, I did something different. I just watched. He felt the shift in me almost immediately. He felt me pulling away. And suddenly, he was attentive again. He started bringing me flowers from the market on his way home, surprise croissants on Saturday mornings, little loving notes tucked into my work bag. In our next therapy session, he told Madame Lefebvre, "You seem much more stable lately," turning to smile at me. "I think we're making real progress." Then he turned back to the therapist, his expression becoming serious and concerned again. "I am worried about something else though," he said, his voice dropping. "Sometimes Camille, she dissociates. She forgets entire conversations, she writes things down obsessively. I'm afraid she's starting to lose touch with reality." I felt the air leave the room. He wasn't just defending himself anymore. He was building a case against me. One night, while he was in the shower, I opened his laptop. I'm not proud of it. But sometimes survival doesn't look noble or pretty. I found a folder on his desktop simply named Notes. Inside were emails he had been sending to our therapist without my knowledge. They were carefully curated. There were dates of my supposed outbursts. Detailed descriptions of my confusion. He had even taken screenshots of my text messages, completely out of context, to prove his points. And there were lists, long lists of things I had supposedly misremembered. He was documenting me. Not as his wife. As a problem. As a fragile, unstable woman that he was heroically trying to manage. Do you know what it feels like to see your own life, your own pain, written up like a psychiatric report authored by the very person who is hurting you? It feels like realizing you might lose absolutely everything, your credibility, your reputation, your sanity, and no one will ever believe it was real. If you discovered your partner was keeping a secret file on you, what would you do? Let me know in the comments, because I have a feeling some of you have seen something very similar. Part 3 is where I finally start to plan my escape, and where he shows who he really is when he realizes he is losing control. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it. After I saw the file, something inside me went very, very still. I realized I was not just in a difficult marriage. I was in a story he was writing, where he was the hero and I was the unstable wife. You can't argue with the author of a story like that. You can only leave the book. I told my friend Inez everything. She listened without interrupting, her jaw clenched, her eyes furious in that quiet way only real friends manage. Then she said the sentence that changed everything: "You don't argue with someone who is rewriting your reality. You leave." Quietly. So we made a plan. I photographed important documents. I moved small amounts of money to a bank account he didn't know about. I scanned pages from that notebook and emailed them to myself. Most importantly, we chose a morning. A normal weekday, nothing special. Because big dramatic exits look good in films. In real life, they can be dangerous. Julien felt the distance growing between us again. He started asking more questions. Where are you going? Why are you late? Who were you texting? When I was vague, he'd smile tightly. You're acting strange lately, he said. It worries me. One evening, I tried to leave for a walk. He stepped into the doorway, blocking my path. Where are you going? He asked. I replied, out. He pressed, with who? I stood my ground. That's not your concern. His face changed. The calm vanished. What replaced it wasn't shouting, it was worse. A cold, precise rage. You wouldn't survive without me, he said quietly. You know that, right? That was the moment the last piece of illusion shattered. I realized he didn't love me. He loved control. I did not leave that night. I waited. The next morning, he kissed my forehead, grabbed his briefcase, and left for work like any other day. I watched the door close. I listened for the elevator ding. I waited an extra 5 minutes. Then I moved. I took my passport, my laptop, the notebook, a small suitcase that was already half-packed under the bed. I didn't leave a note. What would I write? Sorry, I stopped letting you erase me? I locked the door behind me and walked out of the building into an ordinary Lyon morning, the smell of the boulangerie, people rushing for the tram, nobody knowing that for me, this was day one. Inez picked me up around the corner. I thought I'd burst into tears of relief. Instead, I shook all over and kept saying, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe he isn't that bad. Maybe. She put a hand on mine and said, Camille, I believe you. Those 3 words did something therapy had never managed. I stayed in her guest room for 3 weeks. I slept with the light on, my phone on silent, the door locked. Every notification made my heart race. Every unknown number felt like him. Gaslighting doesn't end when you leave the house. It echoes in your nervous system. Then, the smear campaign started. Julien moved quickly. Mutual friends stopped messaging. Colleagues grew distant, suddenly busy. One wrote to me, I hope you're getting the help you need. Julien said you left during a bad episode. We're praying for you. A bad episode. He told people I'd had a breakdown. That he was heartbroken but worried. That he'd tried everything but I refused treatment. He positioned himself as the caring husband of a woman falling apart. This is gaslighting's final stage, reputation destruction. If they can't control your actions, they'll try to control what everyone thinks of your actions. Even the therapist reached out. She emailed to check in and gently mentioned Julien's concerns about my stability. I stared at the screen for a long time, then closed the laptop. I didn't reply. Sometimes healing means walking away from people who never meant to hurt you, but still helped your abuser anyway. Then work called. Someone, anonymous, of course, had contacted HR, expressing concern about my mental state and unreliable memory. They asked if I needed time off, support, and evaluation. I knew exactly who it was. Gaslighting doesn't stay in the living room. It travels to your job, your group chats, your family. I answered carefully, relying on the one thing he hadn't fully stolen yet, my professional composure. No, I said. I'm safe. I am just going through a separation. If there are performance issues, I'm open to feedback. I hung up and cried in the bathroom at Inez's apartment, not because HR called, but because for the first time, I heard myself handle it and thought, you actually sound sane. Coherent. Like someone who knows what's happening. Maybe I wasn't the problem after all. Part 4 is where we talk about healing, identity, and how to know if what you're living through is gaslighting. Comment part 4 if you still with me so I know who's listening to the very end. I wish I could tell you that after 3 weeks at Inez's place, everything was magically better. It wasn't. Leaving didn't flip a happiness switch. It just stopped the bleeding. The healing, that was slow. And messy. The hardest part wasn't losing Julien. It was learning to trust myself. I asked Inez the same questions over and over. Did I tell you that part already? Do you remember his mother saying that thing about my job? Was I overreacting when? Every time she answered, yes, I remember, or no, you weren't crazy, another small brick went back into the ruined wall of my self-trust. My notebook changed, too. At first it was evidence. Proof I wasn't imagining things. Over time, it became something softer. Less Exhibit A, more Dear Diary, Today I felt human. Months later, I found a tiny place in Villeurbanne. Fourth floor, old building, slightly ugly tiles, too much traffic noise. I loved it. For the first time in years, every object in the space belonged to me. No one could tell me I misremembered buying a lamp. No one could say, that's not how we agreed to arrange the furniture. I remember sitting on the floor among boxes, eating supermarket pasta from the pot, and thinking, this is mine. This mind is mine. This life is mine. It wasn't joy exactly. It was quiet. And sometimes quiet is all you need. Here's what I wish someone had told me earlier: gaslighting isn't just lying. It's an entire strategy built around eroding your inner compass. It's, I never said that, you're imagining things. It's, you're too emotional to see clearly. It's, everyone else thinks you're overreacting. Or my personal favorite, I'm just worried about your mental health. It's using calm tones as a weapon. It's rewriting conversations. It's isolating you so the only reality check you have is them. And it doesn't always come with shouting or slamming doors. Sometimes it comes with flowers, gentle hand squeezes, and I'm just trying to help you. People sometimes expect survivors of emotional abuse to look obviously shattered. They imagine messy hair, wild eyes, screaming. But most of the time, we just look tired, polite, over-explaining. We're the ones constantly saying, maybe it's my fault, or maybe I'm overreacting, or he's not always like this. If you look at me now, in my little apartment, sipping coffee and going to work and seeing friends again, you might think, she doesn't look like a victim. Good. Because I'm not. I'm a person who had her reality quietly edited for years, and then chose to take the pen back. If you're watching this and something in your stomach is turning because this feels too familiar, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. Maybe someone in your life constantly tells you that you remember things wrong, calls you too sensitive or crazy when you cry, tells other people you're unstable. Maybe they use your past mental health struggles as proof that you're the problem. Maybe you've started keeping screenshots, or messages, or little notes in your phone, just to check if you're making things up. Maybe you've Googled, am I crazy or is it him? Listen carefully, healthy love doesn't need you to doubt your own sanity to function. Real care doesn't require you to abandon your own memory. You're allowed to trust yourself. You're allowed to ask, what if I'm not the broken one here? If I could go back and talk to the version of me sitting on the bathroom floor in Lyon, reading about gaslighting for the first time, I'd tell her 3 things. 1, you are not confused. You are being confused. There's a difference. 2, you don't need the person hurting you to agree that it's happening for you to leave. Abusers rarely sign confession letters. And 3, the people who truly love you will believe your experience, even if they don't fully understand it. I believe you is worth more than any diagnosis. I'm not sharing this for revenge. Julien will continue telling his version of events to anyone who listens. That's fine. I'm sharing this because somewhere, maybe in France, maybe across the world, someone is apologizing right now for pain they didn't cause. Someone is being called confused so often that it feels like their first name. Someone is starting a notebook in the middle of the night because they terrified they losing their mind. If that's you, I want you to write something different on the first page. I believe myself. Start there. If any part of Camille's story felt like yours, comment I believe myself so I know you're claiming your mind back. If you feel safe, share one line about what hit you the hardest. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it privately. You might be the Inez in their story. This is Psych Confessions, where psychology meets storytelling, and no one gets to rewrite your reality but you.